since we officially entered autumn season, the days are shorter and the nights are longer. The sun takes time to show up and say hello to us, so I prefer having like the cozy vibes first thing in the morning. I do not like turning on the light or just going into a very weird zone of like first being asleep and then suddenly being awake and then just boom into the light. I think like our body sometimes needs more time to wake up slowly, and I definitely prefer that. And yeah, now as you can see, I usually check in with what I need to do in the day, but in the morning today, I had to make a quick list for my grocery shopping because I am just a person who cannot function without a list. And I feel like if I go shopping without having written what I really need, I always end up buying more than I actually require, or I come home and I realize that I already had it and I just bought extra stuff. So, yeah, a list is a lifesaver for me. I also sometimes use this time to scroll a bit mindlessly on Pinterest. I just love the pictures there and I love to get some inspiration from some photos and download some wallpapers as well. So, yeah, Pinterest is kind of my favorite. Hi, I just wanted to pop in and shortly talk about something which has been going on in my mind since some days, and I just thought I should share it with you all out there. Also, because when I talk to the camera, then it's like I'm also listening to myself. So I guess it's also for me, but also for people out there who might relate to what I'm saying. And the topic I have brought with me today is how to trust yourself again. So, the first point I kind of wanted to highlight was that our feelings and emotions are a compass. They are not stagnant, they are not forever, they are not written in stone. What I mean by this is whatever you're feeling right now, or you're thinking, or whatever emotions you're going through in the moment, do not define how things are going to be for you in the future. Because I feel a lot of times we maybe face some rough times or some bad situation or a low point in our life, and we think, well, that's it. I reached a roadblock. There's just no way I'm going to move forward. That's it. My life is over, or I don't know what to do. And you just go into this defeatist, like, so, thinking mode. Um, yeah, and I just feel like the moment you reach into this defeatist mode is the moment where you can't move forward, because if you give up, if your mind gives up, then there is just no way that you're ever going to overcome your challenges. So I need you to understand that what you're feeling right now is not going to be forever. Trust me, I have had some life experiences which have taught me that, because in the moment I always used to feel this pain is just too much, or I can't deal with this, or I don't think I can fight, or all these kind of thoughts would come in my head. And now where I am in life, I look back and I'm like, oh, I did overcome all those hardships and I'm much better and happier now than I was maybe 5 years back or something. So that just goes to show that our feelings and emotions are not stagnant, like they can change. So do not take rash decisions in the moment based on what you're feeling, because your feeling can change the very next moment. And that's why I always feel and recommend as well, that it is very important to pause and stop. Just stop what you're doing and take a breath. And if you feel like the feelings and emotions are too overwhelming, write it down somewhere. But my advice always is, do not read what you wrote. Like, just write it, close your notebook or whatever page, just turn it away, and then do something else, distract your mind. And in 1 or 2 days, come back and see what you wrote. Because this allows you to take stock of what you felt or wrote, 1 or 2 days back. And then you can see whether you feel like you've evolved from that emotion, or whether what you were feeling was really like necessary or in the right direction, or maybe now you have a bit of a better clarity, and you know that, okay, maybe in the moment I was thinking or reacting like that or feeling like that, but it's not really that big of a deal. Sometimes it helps. So yeah, that would be my first tip. for you guys, and I know it's very hard to practice because I tried myself and sometimes I fail. Um, but I just know because I've been told many times, and I think the best person who gives me advice is my mom. And I just feel like I have heard a lot from her that I need to deep breathe, that I need to, learn to take things slow and not always give in to my emotions and thoughts in that moment, and blurt out stuff or just, confront somebody or a situation or overanalyze a situation. More like just wait, take a step back, and then wait and see how things are going and developing. And then, if something happens, to kind of phrase it in a way where I can express myself without feeling like I'm attacking someone else in that situation. Or I just realize myself, like, okay, maybe I was just being too weird or overthinking something which is not even true. So, yeah, that's like one very important point and a lesson that I've learned. So, I would love for you guys to also share in with this tip of mine. Okay, the second point I wanted to bring across was that small steps build our inner trust. I know for a lot of you out there, it could be or maybe not, but I'm guessing a lot of us struggle with this. When we do something in life, whether even if it's like a small decision of going out to some party or going out with a friend, or choosing a career or choosing a university to study. I'm sorry for that ambulance sound. Um, if things go wrong or if something bad happens and we meet with some sort of challenge in that situation, I feel like it's very common tendency to just go back into your shell and think, oh, I made a mistake. So the next time I'm likely to repeat the mistake, or none of the decisions I make are ever right or good, or all these thoughts come in the mind, which is completely normal. It's nothing abnormal. A lot of people go through it. Again, I'm here. But what I have grown to understand with time is that just because one decision of yours or a couple of decisions of yours have not gone right, it doesn't mean that you will always be wrong. I guess making bad decisions or poor choices definitely bring us into bad situations or can be very harmful, dangerous, or even painful. But I also feel like a lot of those decisions and choices help us become who we are, because if we don't do those mistakes, I guess we're never learning. Yeah, sometimes it can take long. Sometimes the journey of that learning process is not nice, and it can turn into whichever direction, good or bad. But I feel overall, a lot of us learn from our past choices and decisions, right? That's why I feel like you shouldn't let one wrong choice or wrong decision determine the rest of your future. It's common tendency for the mind to relate to it like this, like, okay, I didn't do good in the past, probably the decision or choice I'm making right now is also going to be bad. But the thing is, if you keep thinking like this, then you're just going to end up being very unhappy and frustrated with life. And you will maybe miss out on a lot of opportunities and chances in life just because you're thinking in that direction. So I just feel like the small steps are very important. Like, trust yourself um, to make those choices, even if things go wrong. You have to know that I did that. I chose it. Turned out good, great. Turns out not so good, also my responsibility. I have to deal with it. Very easy to say, I know, and difficult to do. But I guess that's life. We have to somehow navigate through it and learn to deal with whatever actions we do and whatever reactions come from it. Yeah, so that would be like the second point that I wanted to talk about. Now, coming to my third point, I think, I don't know, I feel like it's so, so, so common. Um, how do I say it? I'm just like, I just went blank. Um, I just want to say that silence is not empty. Now, what do I mean by this is, I know some people or a lot of people who need to do stuff. They need to work, they need to study, they need to talk to somebody, they need to go out, they need to socialize, they need to do things, so to say. And such people cannot sit 1 minute without doing anything. They would sit even and then complain or just talk, maybe hypothetically, about what they need to do or what they are planning to do. Or, I think a lot of you could relate that you have definitely come across such people, or maybe you yourself are somebody like that. And there's nothing wrong with it, but definitely at some point you get exhausted. You get mentally, emotionally, physically exhausted. And for those of us who maybe are more introverted, we prefer solitude, we prefer being silent, we prefer silence, so to say, and being on our own. Honestly, it can be a bit daunting when we see such people around us, or maybe our friends are like that, maybe our family members are like that, maybe a boyfriend, girlfriend, some partner is like that. And we just constantly then compare ourselves with such people, and we're like, oh, maybe I'm missing out on life, or maybe I'm boring, or I'm too nerdy, or I don't have much hobbies in life, which is not true. I am a firm believer that silence is very much needed, even by those who love doing outdoorsy stuff. Taking a break sometimes, just being alone with yourself and learning to be fine with silence around you is very important. Um, because a person who's constantly surrounded by noisiness and who thrives in noisiness, um, will definitely exhaust themselves at some point, and they will come to a point where somehow they have to face the reality of sometimes having to be alone. And I know that for some people it can be very difficult. They maybe love having a lot of friends, or having a big social circle, or having events to go to, or having family gatherings to go to, or just, those people who really love doing stuff. um, it is also very important to sometimes slow down and not do stuff. And for those of us who are already in that zone, I need to tell you that you need to be fine with being just the way you are. I also am someone who is pretty lonesome. Like, I don't need to have too many friends. I don't want it actually. I'm at a point in my life where I love talking to people. So if somebody connects with me, I would definitely love talking and sharing and becoming friends. But I'm also somebody who loves being a homebody. I like staying home. I like doing my own thing. I like chilling on the couch sometimes and doing nothing. And I love sometimes silence because it's required. We are so, like, um, every day stressed because we need to do something, we need to get somewhere, we need to get to work, we need to get to our university, to school, to something or the other, that we really, I feel like, lose out on the time that we have for ourselves when the world is quiet, when we have nothing to worry about, when we have nothing to do and nobody around us is bothering us, you know. um, so that's like my third very important point, that we need to appreciate the small moments, and that silence is not a bad thing. It's actually sometimes required, and that it's good if we have it in our life. Of course, everybody has their own choices. You can do as you please. But it's always good to have a good balance between, being outgoing and sometimes taking a step back and just, chilling a little bit, giving your mind and your body a little bit of a break, and just do little stuff, even cleaning or making a sip of making yourself a cup of tea or coffee, is enough. Like, if you just do it mindfully. I know a lot of people, like, we wake up in the morning and then you're gonna be, making coffee or tea, and then on one phone you're just scrolling and that's not mindful at all. Like, sometimes I just love looking at my cup of tea when I'm pouring the water into it, or when I love stirring my coffee into, like, the milk, and just see the foam. It just, I don't know, it's just super calming for me at least. But yeah, you don't have to do what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that it's nice to incorporate certain little habits in your life that can make you feel healthier and a bit more energetic and more wholesome, so to say. That's it. And lastly, but not the least, um, one thing which I learned, I'm still learning by the way, just because I'm sharing these tips doesn't mean that I am perfect or that I've mastered everything. Most of the times, I feel like when I share advices or tips with people around me, it's like, for me, very important because I hear it myself and I can give myself that boost in my head that, oh, I need to pay attention to this, and the advice I'm giving to other people, I need to be able to practice it myself. Um, so, being said, your story is yours alone. I know we live in a society right now where we are all super addicted to our phones, to our social life, to what people think, to what media is showing us, and we make a lot of choices and decisions based on that. Or we compare ourselves to other people, or we judge other people, or we feel, oh, that person is probably living their best life just because that's what we see on social media. um, but that's where it is important to understand that your story is yours and another person's story is theirs. You cannot live their life and they cannot live your life. There's so many things that you can do which someone else can't do, and there's so many things which I can do which maybe out there maybe no one or very few people can do. And that's okay. We are all unique. If all of us are same, then I don't know, I just feel like it would be pretty weird and there would be pretty much chaos in the society. I feel like people being able to do different things or having different personality types, or interests and lifestyles, brings a lot of like, I don't know, I would say flavors, colors in the society, and in life, so to say, because we get to learn a lot from other people as well. Otherwise, yeah, there's no learning or growth. So, yeah, I would definitely say that it is very important to not judge other people, to not compare yourselves to other people, because who knows, that person may be looking at you and thinking like you're living your best life. And I feel like we are all authors of our own story. So what you are living currently is your um, is your reality. So do not try to copy other people, because I don't know, I don't think it's going to make you happy. Whatever you can inculcate in your daily routine to make yourself feel better and happy and just grow, it's great. But the moment we start copying other people is when I feel like we lose our individuality, and often I feel like we lose ourselves, and then we start getting frustrated because we may not get the same outcome as the other person we're copying gets. And then it gets frustrating for us, and then we are miserable. So, the best thing to do is to not do it. Like, don't copy other people. It's always good to take inspiration from others. Look at somebody and be like, wow, I would totally want to be like him or her, or I wish I could have a similar lifestyle or something. And you want to work for it, you want to study for it, you want to hustle for it, great. But there's a thin line between wanting to take inspiration from somebody and wanting to become somebody. Like, yeah, that's a bit like shaky. So you need to see for yourself like what works best and how you can maintain your balance, so to say, of your own personality without losing yourself. So yeah, that's it for the chit chat show. I have spoken a lot. By the way, I am very talkative. um, but yeah, I really wanted to talk to you guys and make this video, and I'm happy that I did it. But yeah, if you have any other ideas or opinions or comments about whatever I just said, feel free to write them below. I'm always open to hearing from other people and sharing or discussing stuff. And if you have any topic idea, like if you have any topic in mind that you would like me to talk about, then you can also write that down in the comment section, and I would definitely try to record something with that in mind. So yeah, let's say bye for today, and I'm very thankful to you if you stayed till this part of the video. It means a lot to me, and I hope that you will continue staying tuned to my future uploads as well. And yeah, I wish you all the very best, yeah, day, evening, whatever you guys are having out there in the world. But yeah, bye. So in one pot, I've put my chopped cauliflower to boil. And in my other pan, I'm just heating up some ghee, which is clarified butter. And I just love the taste of food when it's cooked in that. And I'm adding some cumin seeds, and I allow it to kind of pop a little bit. And here I'm adding just a little bit of tomato and mark, which is just basically some tomato paste. I just feel like it adds a very nice flavor to food when you add that. Yeah, so giving it a little stir. I just love the taste of curry leaves and dried chilies cooked in oil. So that's what we're doing here. And then I'm going to proceed with adding my chopped potatoes to the oil so they can slow cook. And it gives a very nice flavor when they're all mixed together like this. I made this curry without onion and garlic, but you guys are free to definitely add onion garlic if you want to. I had already mixed up some tomatoes and a green chili on the side, and now I'm just gonna add some spices to it, which is pretty basic, honestly. It's just some turmeric powder, garam masala, some coriander powder, some paprika powder, and some hing, which is sulfatida in English. I hope I said that right. But yeah, after doing this, we're just going to kind of give it a nice toss together, and we're going to add this mixture to our gravy in some time. We're gonna go ahead and add our chopped cauliflowers, which are boiled, by the way, not fully boiled, and we're gonna kind of toss them around together so they soak in all the spices. While the potatoes and cauliflowers are cooking, I'm just washing up some rice, and we're gonna make rice in my rice cooker here. Okay, so I feel this is pretty self-explanatory. We add our tomato mixture to the cauliflowers and potatoes, and we are going to toss them around and cook them on a low flame until they soak up the tomato and whatever spices we used, so the flavor comes out really, really rich. Here I'm adding some salt to taste, yeah, and then tossing them around. It's very important to keep moving it around so it doesn't get stuck or burnt at the bottom. At this point, I go in and add some water because I wanted it to be pretty like soupy, like watery, but you can adjust how much water you need in your curry based on preference. I love coriander, so some chopped coriander leaves are definitely going into my curry. It's just a must for me. And I'm also going to go ahead and add some dried fenugreek leaves. I learned this trick from my mom. She would just take these leaves in her hands and then crush it with her palms, and like it would become finer and just kind of go on the curry, and then you kind of serve. You don't really cook it for too long. So that's what I did, and here I'm adding just a little bit of cooking cream for taste, and yeah, that's pretty much it, and we're done. Our curry is ready.